It shouldn't be the last option for everyone, but for many attorneys, it's not a good option. I think a lot of attorneys from large law firms and small law firms think that going in-house is going to result in not having to bill hours. It's going to result in them being much happier, having more time with their families, and hopefully getting stock options and making like huge amounts of money. It does happen. I've heard of attorneys leaving with hundreds of millions of dollars from companies, most recently Google, so it does happen. But the point is that once you go in-house, it's extremely difficult to get another job with a law firm, and even a lot of times to get in-house jobs. When an attorney goes in-house, 99% of attorneys do not get major economic windfalls with company going public and stock options and so forth. Also, once you go in-house, it's very difficult to get another in-house job, and your legal skills are likely to deteriorate because you're not doing this challenging of work. And you may ultimately, in many in-house jobs, work as hard as you did when you were inside of a law firm. It's very difficult to get another law firm job because law firms typically aren't interested in attorneys who've gone in-house. Once you leave a law firm, you've signaled to them that the law firm game, which is about getting business and doing work and so forth for important clients, is no longer important to you. So you send a message to them that you're probably going to leave again. So why would they want you to trust you with their clients? And the idea that people have when they go in-house is that they're going to work less hard and not have to bill hours. And so law firms know that, so they don't want to hire people that are unlikely to work hard. Really, when you go in-house, tend not to be a specialist as often. So the law firm believes you're kind of off track in terms of the training, growth, and so forth from the law firm's perspective. One of the things I could say is that when I see an attorney go in-house in a major market like California or New York City, I would estimate that probably 65 to 70% of those attorneys who go in-house are unemployed within 18 months of starting their in-house jobs. It's just not a road to stability. And I would say at least out of that 65 to 70%, probably at least 60% of the same attorneys try to return to law firms after losing their jobs, and probably less than 20% of those people that got positions in law firms got into as good a firm as they were before they went in-house. When you're inside of a law firm, they expect you're going to become increasingly competent in the type of work they give you. They expect that they can give you more and more responsibility as time goes on. And they expect that they're going to be able to raise your billing rate each year as you become more and more competent. They expect that you're going to be able to form better relationships with their clients and long-standing relationships as time goes by. They expect you're going to develop more contacts in the legal community, which you can leverage into portable business. And they also expect that you're going to develop management skills, which means you can work closely with associates and train them and supervise younger attorneys and paralegals. But the reason is the most attractive candidates to in-house employers tend to be the attorneys inside the law firms that handle their legal work. These attorneys are already familiar with the company, they have established relationships with players inside of the company, and they're trusted legal advisors who are costing the company a great deal of money already. So the idea is for the companies, if they bring them in-house, it's going to be cheaper for them. So that's one of the first things. Or they bring in attorneys that are working for clients that are very similar to that company. So that's the preference of in-house employers, is to hire attorneys from law firms. And also attorneys that come directly from law firms, if they're younger and they have experience, they tend to work a little bit harder than in-house attorneys, I think. A lot of times in-house attorneys will pick up bad habits. One of the things is inside a law firm, you're actually doing work for clients, and the law firms are charging for the work, so the market is dictating that they have to provide a very high service or otherwise they're going to lose the client. But when you're in-house, a lot of the work that's significant and challenging ends up getting fed out to law firms. And so you kind of act as an intermediary where you say, okay, this work isn't that difficult, or work is difficult, and you give the work out. So for some attorneys, that's the ideal job, is not doing the work. But most in-house attorneys are in a position where when the most challenging work comes in, their job is to find a law firm to do it. With some exceptions, in-house attorneys typically do not work as hard as their counterparts in law firms. And that's a very good reason for going in-house. Being in-house can release you from a lot of the billable hour pressures and other stresses of working inside of a law firm. And the other thing is in-house jobs typically do have more predictable hours. Attorneys will leave at normal times a lot of times inside of in-house jobs, and it can be a much better job. And the other thing is in large law firms, there's a lot of pressure. There's pressure to make partner, there's pressure to build lots of hours. And in some firms, there's a lot of divorce, substance abuse, and parents can see their children and their children have troubles. So going in-house can be a very good thing for a lot of attorneys. So an in-house environment really can a lot of times give you your life back. In many in-house jobs, the general counsel or associate general counsel will often work the same hours as lawyers in private practice, meaning they work late night and on weekends, and it's a very high-pressure job. But in addition, many in-house departments are set up like law firms where different departments within the company will service different needs of the company, and in-house attorneys are even required to write down and bill the time they spend on the clients. Yeah, and a lot of times corporate budgets, companies will want to cut down on their legal bills, and because of that, the in-house departments are expected to do a lot of the work. So that can put a lot of pressure on them.